Welcome to A Better HR Business, the podcast that looks at how HR consultants and HR tech firms grow their businesses and how they help their employers to get the best out of their people. Remember, for show notes and downloads, go to www.getmorehrclients.com/podcast. That's getmorehrclients.com/podcast. Okay, let's get started.
Hi there, thanks for joining me today. Great to have you along. And today I want to walk you through 5 lessons I've learned from coaching hundreds of HR-related business founders around the world. And it's been a bit of a wild ride over the last few years, all over the world, as I said, US, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, different countries throughout Europe, etc. And it's been a fascinating journey in the sense that I'm seeing all sorts of patterns emerging from people starting consulting businesses, technology businesses, product businesses, and they've all got different measures and success measures and all that sort of stuff. But there are still certain themes, learnings that keep reoccurring. So I want to just share a few of them with you today that I've learned. No particular order, although the last one is probably the most important. So to start with, choose the right marketing channels and work on the right things. So I like to say that there's 100 different marketing methods you can choose from, so that you can go to networking events, you can advertise on radio or TV or in the newspaper, magazines, you can advertise on Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, you can write posts on LinkedIn, you can send messages on LinkedIn, you can send cold emails, you can join those portals where you pay per leads, Bark, those sort of things. You could pay for newsletter sends, podcast ads, all kinds of stuff. Like, there's so much out there. So the key is to choose the right ones. And again, there's no perfect or a set formula. In the old days, I used to say, right, there are certain things you must do if you're an HR-related business. Well, I've realized over the years that it definitely matters which ones you choose, because they need to align to you and your business, and that may include the people within your business. So by that I mean, do you have resources? Do you have thought leadership skills, abilities within the company, or are you all about technology and so on? Do you have money to spend? If there is a budget, then that determines some of the channels you go. If you don't have budget, in which case most new consulting firms, things like that, they don't spend money on a budget for marketing, and that's okay. Plenty of businesses start that way. In which case, which channels are you going to choose? If it's LinkedIn, well, it's very crowded. What are you going to say there, and how are you going to work that? Are you going to use any other methods? And so it comes down to choosing the methods that fit you, budget, resources, time, and also your personality. Are you wanting to be out there and putting your face in front of the public, or do you want to be behind the scenes? I've actually coached quite a few new business founders where they haven't actually left their company yet. And so that, again, determines certain marketing methods. They can't be public facing, so they have to do it in different ways, blogs, advertising, email, sponsorships, all kinds of stuff. But again, choose the right method that works for you, and then work on the right things. So I say that, it's like running on ice. You can put in all this amazing effort, spending hours in the day doing all this marketing stuff. But if it's just like running on ice, you're standing in the same spot. It's not actually paying off. And so you need to work on the right things. And so in the coaching sense, sometimes I'll tell people off. I'll say, look, you've been working on your website for ages, right? Or coming up with the perfect ebook, document, lead magnet thing to give to people. But until we get out there in front of the market, in front of people who might potentially buy your business, it doesn't make a difference. And a way to think about that is, on a clear night sky, look up and see all these billions of stars floating out there. Your website is just one of those billions of stars, right? So wasting time on the wrong things is not necessarily going to generate your new business, create the kind of life, the kind of client work that you want. So it's about choosing the right marketing channels and then working on the right things in the right order. Now, the second lesson I've learned from coaching hundreds of HR-related business founders is that the start is always the hardest part. And the analogy, or the metaphor, I'm not sure which one it is it's like pushing a stationary boulder, a giant rock, across a flat surface or down a hill. You can do it. Once it's rolling, you've got that momentum, you've heard of the flywheel concept. Once it's moving, it's easier to keep going. But just that starting point is really difficult. And so it's connected to the last thing I'm going to cover here. But just know that going in, if you're at the stage where you're starting a business or you're starting a new product line or whatever it is hard. Okay, so just be prepared for that, and mentally and resources wise, prepare for that. But you do turn the corner. You can actually start to push that boulder and get the momentum and start. Once you've got it rolling downhill, way easier. You've got money coming in, clients coming in, leads coming in. There's a natural flow, and it works. I know I've mixed a lot of metaphors there, and I apologize. Now, number 3 is leveraging your efforts through technology and people. So we have a mini workshop we run on how to use AI and ChatGPT to market and grow your HR related business. So that's an example of how you can use the whole new AI revolution, ChatGPT and all these other things, to market your business, to streamline your admin, your operations, all sorts of things. So definitely that is a theme, a recurring theme I've seen from businesses sort of going faster and taking action quicker and so on, and getting more success, is they've been leveraging technology and people. So on the technology, that's things like ChatGPT or AI, even just down to simple stuff like calendar booking things. So if you are going to do some marketing and sales, business development efforts to get people to check out your services and perhaps book a call with you, a meeting with you, can you streamline that by having a calendar booking software like Calendly, Calendar Hero, those sort of things, so that it's all automated? But that's taking some of the steps out. But on the other side, you've got the people aspect. And one of the first steps that I always sort of encourage people to do is, what can we outsource through, for instance, a virtual assistant or someone like that, a team member, to start to take things off your plate so you can focus on the higher value tasks and projects and things like that, working for clients for revenue, as opposed to writing LinkedIn posts or doing administration work that is of a lower hourly rate, let's say. So think about your charge out rate versus the work you're doing. Do they match up? Are you working on the right things? If not, then try to leverage your efforts through technology and people. And yes, if you're at the starting stage, of course, you're kind of going to do everything yourself. That's just kind of natural. But as soon as possible, as soon as you've got some money coming in, revenue coming in, clients coming in, then try to look at how you can leverage your efforts through technology and people through a variety of methods. And just generally, that's what I see. I've seen one of my clients, she hired her old boss as her first employee. I just think that's great. I love that one. And so that person is an expert in the HR world, and can help doing some of the projects. Others have hired assistants to do social media stuff, LinkedIn sort of stuff. Others have done screening for when they're doing recruitment drives for clients. There's all sorts of different ways you can do it. I do it, and I would encourage you to look at the same. 4th on the list of the 5 lessons learned from coaching hundreds of HR-related business founders around the world is get expert advice. So whether that's me on the business marketing, business growth side of things, or accountants or LinkedIn experts or branding experts or sales experts, business association experts, I just generally find that people who've done well have taken action, got advice from people who kind of know what they're doing or are seeing the patterns, seeing stuff from a bigger picture, and can tell you things to watch out for, things to do more of, things to do less of, etc. And so don't be afraid of that, whether it's free or paid. Just, I think it's more effective and faster than trying to rely on Google or typing stuff into ChatGPT and hoping that you get the right answer back, or going to YouTube, all these sort of things. Get expert advice, and you'll get to the finish line, whatever that is, whether it's the milestone or your business goal. You'll get there faster and easier, in which case it's probably time to set new goals and create the kind of business and life that you really want. Which leads me to the last one, when it's kind of connected to all of them, but I just see it time and time again. So number 5 in the 5 lessons learned from coaching hundreds of HR-related business founders around the world is that effort is everything. By that I mean that the people who succeed faster than others, there's no half measures. They kind of make this decision. Sometimes they tell me, Ben, I'm going all in right now. And so, for instance, in the HR Business Accelerator, we've got an online portal and there's some tasks, and that's how we kind of track things. So I assign you things to do and they're in there, and I get told automatically when different items get checked off. You're making progress through the different program, either the learning activities or the action items, and I'm seeing them ticked off. And the people who are just doing them and flying through them, they're the ones who generally will hit their goals faster, sooner, easier, in a more enjoyable way. And like I was having a conversation with one in Australia a little while ago, and he just said, yeah, Ben, I'm going all in. Everything you're telling me to do, I'm doing it and really attacking it. And so suddenly he's making all these massive connections with sales opportunities, with business connectors, all kinds of stuff that is generating new sales opportunities, new business opportunities, and ultimately new clients, new revenue. But effort is everything. Really, just go for it. It's ultimately, it's not rocket science, marketing and growing a business, but you've got to put in the time and effort. Just connect it to the other items that are, the lessons that I've shared in this. So firstly, choosing the right marketing channels and working on the right things. Again, connect it back to the effort. So work hard, really push it, but make sure you're working on those right things and the right channels. Secondly, the start is always the hardest part. So effort connects to that. You put in the effort to really push that boulder from a standing start, and then you'll start to see it rolling, start to get that momentum. Number 3 is leverage your efforts through technology and people. Well, once you've put in the effort to get things rolling and stuff, you're getting some business in, you're able to expand or whatever, or leverage your time through technology and people, then go for it. Absolutely do it. And 4 was get expert advice from, whether it's me on the business growth side, the HR Business Accelerator, or accountants, LinkedIn experts, branding experts, sales experts, etc. But do seek advice. It's a shortcut to the kind of the goals and the life you're after. So don't be afraid of doing that. And then, number 5, effort is everything. So I hope these have helped you get the brain cogs moving a little bit. If you're not in the HR Business Accelerator, or if you haven't spoken to me about any of that sort of stuff, feel free to do so, book a call. I'd love to have you. If you're already a client, then let's make the next year even better. You have created an amazing HR-related business, and you're helping people, employers, the economy, people around you in your life. So keep doing what you're doing, and let's have a great year.
Thanks for joining us today on A Better HR Business, the podcast that explores the world of HR consulting and HR tech businesses. For show notes and downloads, go to www.getmorehrclients.com/podcast. That's getmorehrclients.com/podcast. Remember to subscribe and share the show with any friends who are busy growing a HR business. Thanks, and see you next time.